Welcome in today to the Father-Son Football Fanatics podcast. This is our second episode, so thank you for coming back and joining us. Today we're going to be breaking down the wide receiver position. We're going to be looking at draft prospects, we're going to be looking at the fantasy breakdown for wide receivers, and we're going to be talking about those free agents wide receivers. The sneaky wide receivers that found a way to mess up your fantasy lineup last year. So all that on today's show. Let's get right into it.
Okay, so now we're going to be talking about some news, but first I say we talk about some more of our props that we acquired from Bengals, just Bengals stuff. So yeah.
Stuff we've got on the set here. One thing that I really like is this official NFL football. It's an official Duke ball that they use in the games, in the practices. It's official. It's got the Bengals logo on it. The cool thing about this ball, and if it were just a ball that you bought at Walmart or something, not a big deal, or even at the pro shop. But the cool thing about this ball is Andy Dalton, who was the former quarterback for the Bengals, threw this ball to me, and I caught it.
Well, he actually didn't throw it to my dad. He threw it towards like everybody that was in that area, and my dad just jumped up and he caught it.
You're stealing my story here, okay? No, we went to an open practice that the Bengals had, and at the end, Andy Dalton was walking across the street. He had one ball left there with him, and he turned around. There was a crowd of about 30 people. He threw it, and I jumped up and caught it. And then I said, "Hey, you want to sign me to the Bengals?" And they're like, "No." So, but that's the story of that ball. Pretty cool. Caught that from Andy Dalton. It's official. They used it during the practice that day. The other thing that we wanted to point out today, do you want to talk about the...
You see this picture up here? You guys probably cannot see it, but it's signed by Geno Atkins and him destroying Deshaun Watson. That's probably why he didn't play anymore.
It's the infamous sack that he just... I mean, you can see Deshaun Watson in midair being pummeled by Geno Atkins.
But right here, it's gold marker. It's signed, definitely, though.
It is signed by him. The funny part about that picture is someone gave it to me because they had two of them. The reason they had two of them was the first one, which is this one, he took it to Geno Atkins, and Geno went to sign it with a brand new gold Sharpie, and the Sharpie wouldn't work. It wasn't working. Finally, he got it to work after kind of marking it a few times. Got it to work, and it didn't turn out the best signature, and that's why he gave it to us. But I think that makes it more unique. You know, how many of those are out there versus a nice clean signature. So pretty interesting story behind that. But let's jump right into some news. One of the big pieces of news is Russell Wilson. We all know that Russell Wilson is a great quarterback. He has expressed a little bit of interest, possibly playing for another team. And actually the Washington Comrades, it's going to be hard to get used to that name, but...
I thought it was Commanders.
Commanders, see, it's already so hard to get used to it.
Comrades.
Close enough. If you're in another country, you're a comrade, I guess. But the Commanders, they've actually attempted a deal to get Russell Wilson, and the Seahawks don't seem too interested in it, so I don't think that one goes through. But that's one of the pieces of news we have. The next piece of news is
Let me talk about this one.
Aaron Rodgers.
So last week we talked about Aaron Rodgers and said if he was going to stay at Green Bay or not. We said that he probably would, but now I don't think he is going to. So the three teams that are trying to trade for him are the Titans, the Steelers, and the Broncos. Those three teams are trying to get him, and I feel like they'd all be pretty scary with Aaron Rodgers throwing the ball to Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton, A.J. Brown, Julio Jones, and then Chase Claypool.
Just a new piece of information that just came in here. If the Denver Broncos propose a trade, the offer that they would propose would include a first-round pick for 2022, which would be the number 9 pick, a first-round pick of 2023, a 2022 second-round pick, and a 2023 second-round pick, and Jerry Jeudy. So
they're getting rid of their rookie, or he's not a rookie anymore, but their 2-year wide receiver. You got to stick with him. Give away Courtland Sutton.
And that's where my head's at. Courtland Sutton has shown skills in the past. He's shown potential in the past. But last year was not a great year for him. Jerry Jeudy came out and had some hot streaks and really showed that he could play. They've got Tim Patrick there also. They've got Noah Fant. So I think losing Courtland Sutton and keeping Jerry Jeudy would be a better play. However, I think they have to do what they have to do to get Aaron Rodgers.
But also, he's not going to play for another 3 years. I say he's playing for 2 more years at max. I don't think he's playing. I think he's playing until he's like 40 or 41.
Yeah.
So there's no point of giving away your 10 more year wide receiver for a 2 more year quarterback that you're probably not even going to make the Super Bowl and win it, because he couldn't do it with Devontae Adams, Aaron Jones, Robert Tonyan, Alan Lazard, and all of them. So I'm just saying I don't think the Broncos will make it to the Super Bowl, even if they had Aaron Rodgers. That's just my opinion.
I agree with you. Now, the next one for the Steelers, the potential offer there would obviously be 2022 first-round pick, which would be the number 20 pick.
That's not as good as the Broncos.
2023 first-round pick, 2024 conditional first-round pick, meaning that if certain things happen, then they would get that pick. If they don't happen, like if he doesn't play through his contract or whatever the case may be, then they wouldn't get that pick. No players, so just the picks.
The first round, though.
Yes, first-round picks basically for the next 3 years is what the Steelers offer. I don't see them taking that. They've got to get another quarterback in there to make this worth it, in my opinion.
Mason Rudolph. Just give him Mason Rudolph.
Which leads us to the Tennessee Titans trade. So the Titans' potential offer, first-round pick of 2022, which is a number 26, not a great position. 2023 first-round pick, 2023 second-round pick, and a 2022 third-round pick, and quarterback Ryan Tannehill.
I think they'll take that, actually.
That makes sense. It reminds me of the Matt Stafford, Jared Goff trade, where you get a guy, the Titans get a guy that's got more experience, he's better, and he has a potential to take them to a Super Bowl, just like Matt Stafford did with the Rams. Ryan Tannehill's no slouch. I mean, he's a good quarterback, and he would definitely step in and be what Green Bay needs. I think they would still be contenders with him. But that's an interesting offer. To me, that's probably the best offer on the table for Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, well, I think that's all we have about the news. So let's get into some free agents.
Free agents. And let's talk about some free agent wide receivers. So, top of the list, not really the best one out there, but top of the list as far as cap space and salary is Allen Robinson. He's been on the Chicago Bears the last few years. Not really interesting to me to go anywhere. He'll end up somewhere, but nowhere really excites me that he could end up.
So, he hasn't done that good this year. this past year. He had 410 receiving yards and 12 games played and 617 snaps. That's horrible.
Now, he did have a rookie quarterback that didn't play the best.
Yeah, but he didn't play a lot. Andy Dalton played more.
I think it was about 50-50. But, actually, I think Justin Fields played a little bit more. But, nonetheless, not real excited about Allen Robinson. Anywhere he goes, I think he'll be just a solid addition to the team, but not going to stand out.
You going to say the next one, too?
Yeah, Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin goes back to Tampa Bay. They need him. They need the weapons.
They need a quarterback.
Losing Tom Brady, they need some good offensive players for whatever quarterback comes in. And him and Mike Evans working together, I think will be a good team still.
I think he's way, way better than Allen Robinson. Younger by 2.5 years. And then he had 1,103 receiving yards on the year and 14 games played. Only 2 more than Allen Robinson. And he could have got Allen Robinson would have to get 600 more yards to just catch up. 700 more yards to be up by 7 yards. So I don't think that's good for Allen Robinson. I mean, Chris Godwin, he's better than Allen Robinson. Now, going on to the next one, obviously probably one of the best wide receivers in the entire league, Davante Adams. I see him going back to Green Bay only if Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay. Because I feel like if somebody trades for Aaron Rodgers, they're going to want Davante Adams with them and get the package. Because he's just on the free agency. I don't know why nobody's picked him up yet.
Well, and a lot of that has to do with their agents and putting together the right deals and that kind of thing. But, I mean, there's 32 teams out there that would love to have Davante Adams. No question. It's just a matter of, does his cap space fit your team? Does he want to play for your team? All those things matter. And quite frankly, the age that he's at, which by the time the next season starts, he'll be almost 30. I think it's smart for him to stay where he's at. He's a star. He knows the system. He would do really well. If he leaves Green Bay, there's 30 possibilities of where he could go. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. Wherever he go, he's going to be a rock star. But I think he stays in Green Bay.
Yep. So we have 3 here that we're just going to say their names, and because they're not that much anymore like they used to be. So yeah, you can say them.
Yeah, we'll just kind of breeze by them. Will Fuller, Jamison Crowder, T.Y. Hilton. They're all 3, to me, in the same category, which is not really relevant anymore. Will Fuller, just plagued with injuries. T.Y. Hilton, he's 32 years old, going to be 33 years old, just not producing much on the field. So we'll just kind of skim by those guys because I don't think they make a difference where they go.
This is an interesting one. Juju Smith-Schuster, I don't know where he goes. I'd say he'd go to the Broncos, maybe even stay in Pitt.
If the deal happens and they lose Jerry Jeudy, I could see Juju making an impact there. He's only 25 years old. I mean, he's still got good years ahead of him. But in all reality, depending on what happens with the quarterback position in Pittsburgh, I think he stays in Pittsburgh.
Now,
he doesn't want to leave.
This next one, he's almost 35 years old. If you can guess what he is, if you can guess who he is, comment down below because I think you can. He's 35 years old in like 2 months. Did you guess it right? It was Emmanuel Sanders. He was pretty bad this year. Pretty bad.
Yes, I wouldn't say bad. He wasn't effective. Gabriel Davis clearly took over the second spot in Buffalo. No question.
By that last game that he played.
And
4 touchdowns or something.
And he's fighting for number 1. Gabe Davis really stepped it up. Emmanuel Sanders, he might just
retire.
He might hang up the cleats this year. You never know.
He's old for a wide receiver. He's very old.
He is. They typically don't play that long. So he's had a good career, but
15 years. Maybe even 13 or something.
So the next one on the list, AJ Green. Of course, I've got my AJ Green jersey on today. I knew we were talking about him from the Bengals, of course. I don't think he stays in Arizona. I don't think he showed quite enough in Arizona to make it worth bringing him back. I think Arizona can go get one of the other guys on the list. Go get a Chris Godwin if you can get him. But there's some guys that we're going to talk about a little further down the list as well. They're organized by salary and cap space. So AJ Green is in the $6 million range on that. But I think if I'm Arizona, I'm going further down the list, and I'm going to go all the way down to, let me find him here. Man, he's all the way down here. Down to the $880,000 range. And I'm going to pick up a guy who I think's a stud, Michael Gallup. I don't know what it is. When I watch him play, he performs. He's there. He catches everything you throw to him. He's a beast on the sideline. You're going to spend very little money on him, but you're going to get the same, if not better, than the AJ Green you have now at age 33. Gallup's only 26.
Or you go for the guy I'm talking about right now. I'm looking at him right now. You go for you just sign back your guy. You sign back your guy, Christian Kirk. I think he's
sign
younger.
them both.
He's younger, and he's also not as injury prone. Michael Gallup gets hurt every year and doesn't play until the last games, and then they lose in the playoffs. That's what happens with Cowboys. This team right here. That's what happens.
I say bring Kirk back. Kirk doesn't cost you much cap space either. I mean, his salary is $1.4 million. Not costing you a ton. You pick up Michael Gallup for, just under $1 million, and for just over, about $2.5 million, you've got 2 quality receivers, and they're both going to outperform AJ Green. That's where I see it. And then you've got Odell Beckham Jr. on free agency, which at the beginning of this past year I would have said, don't want him, get rid of him, kick him to the curb. And then he comes out with the Rams and helps win a Super Bowl.
I mean, anybody could go to the Rams and help win a Super Bowl.
But
the Rams were a very good team.
They needed a guy to come in, step up, fill the shoes of Robert Woods, take that number 2 spot on the team. Obviously, Cooper Kupp just crushed it. But Odell did a great job stepping in and filling those shoes with Robert Woods being out and really helped him get to the Super Bowl. So that's pretty much it as far as the wide receiver free agents go. There's a ton of them out there, and we could talk about it for an hour. But we're going to move on so that we can get into some draft prospects for the rookies coming in.
See you there. And now for the wide receiver draft prospects of 2022 NFL Draft, obviously. So I'm just going to do this one really quick. Personally, one of my favorite of any player coming into the NFL He was on Ohio State. His name starts with a G, his first name. His last name starts with a W. Garrett Wilson. He's number 1 prospect for wide receiver, and I'm happy about that based on his combine. And his 40-yard dash, 4.38. So, yeah, Garrett Wilson, number 1.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to the Lions. Or, no, because I don't think they'd pick a wide receiver that early. Like, first, second pick in the entire draft. I mean, I think he's actually going to go to Atlanta.
That would be a good pick for them. Yeah, I can see that.
Number 8 pick. I see that because you don't even know what Calvin Ridley's doing. I mean, he hasn't played in a long time, and I don't think he will play in a long time. So that's my thoughts about Garrett Wilson.
Yeah, and even if Ridley does play, they do need that second guy. Kyle Pitts can't be the guy as a tight end. He's not going to be your second receiver. You need a guy to come in and help with that. So number 2 on the list, Drake London, wide receiver out of USC. He's a bigger guy, 210 pounds. He's 6'5", so he's a big-bodied receiver. A little bit slower on the 40-yard dash, but overall, I think he'd be a solid pick there at number 2.
Yeah.
Someone like him, I think, would go probably later in the first round, maybe to Tennessee Titans, somewhere like that.
He could go.
Julio Jones may not be relevant.
He could go to the Raiders, the 22nd pick.
He could.
The Raiders.
They could use a wide receiver for sure. All right, on to number 3, Jameson Williams. I'm going to take this one. I'm going to let you talk about the next Buckeye, okay? Jameson Williams coming out of Alabama, known for producing good receivers, known for producing good players in general. They're always a good team. He comes in 189 is his weight, 6'2 is his height, and a really quick 40-yard dash, 4.25. So he could go to any team and help them tremendously, I think.
He is going to go to the Saints, the New Orleans Saints, if he doesn't go before that.
Yeah, he could.
Because their 18th pick, I mean, you got Philadelphia back-to-back picks at 15 and 16. And then they have a 19 pick in the first round. Oh, that's crazy. But, so, for the next guy, Chris Olave from the Buckeyes, he got scammed from the 30-yard dash. He ran like a 4.26, and it said that he got like a 4.39 because it said in the beginning 4.26. That was an unofficial time, and then just something dumb happened. Not much to say about him. He's just a good player in general. I could see him going to the Browns. I could see him going to the Ravens even. They kind of need one. And the Chargers if they lose Williams.
Yeah, for sure. Last one we're going to talk about is Treylon Burks, another big-bodied receiver, 225 pounds, 6'3", a little bit slower again on the 40-yard, but
4.55.
He's the kind of guy that is going to be almost like a cross between a Darren Waller and a Calvin Johnson type build. He's a pretty good recruit. I think he goes later in the draft, though. I think he probably ends up mid to late second round, just because his abilities and his talents aren't as good as these other 4 guys.
He can go second round to the New York Jets, 35th pick.
I think
he could do that.
He could, absolutely. Well, that wraps up the NFL draft prospects for wide receivers. So we'll move on to a fantasy breakdown of wide receivers.
Okay, guys. So now for the fantasy football leaders for wide receivers last year. So the first one is, well, first, sorry, I forgot. But we have a special guest on our podcast. His name's Bryce Combs. Yeah, so say hi, Bryce.
Hi.
He's the other son. So
We have another one.
there's 3 sons, but he's the youngest, but he's also a football fan with us. So.
Yeah, I have 2 brothers. You saw Cooper. You know who Cooper is. If you watch my channel, you know who
If you watch the CC Mansky channel, you know he loves hot food. But getting back into the wide receivers fantasy football application here. So Cooper Kupp was the best wide receiver last year. Just crushed everybody. Just there was no comparison. I mean, Deebo Samuel was second, but Cooper Kupp was by far first. Bryce, do you think Cooper Kupp is going to be the top receiver next year?
No.
You don't?
No?
Who do you think will be?
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase.
A little biased.
That's what I'm talking about. Who day? So, Cooper Kupp, yeah, definitely going to be a rock star next year. I'm with Bryce. I think he's not number 1 next year, although he will probably be drafted number 1. But I don't think he ends up number 1.
Did you know? I'm just looking at the overall. Did you know that Jonathan Taylor got 331 or 333 fantasy points? That's like a lot more than Cooper Kupp. I'm sorry.
We're talking wide receivers today, okay?
I'm sorry.
Let's save that for the next one. All right.
Little spoiler alert.
So number 2, Deebo Samuel.
So Deebo Samuel, he can either stay in this spot or go down to 4, 5, even 6. I mean, that's the type Deebo is. Deebo's not your number 1 guy, but he's your number 1 guy on your team, but like he's not your number 1 receiver in the entire league. Now, I disagree with Bryce. I don't think Jamar Chase is going to be number 1. I think he'll be number 2 or stay at number 3. Wait, I just gave it away. But
Spoiler alert.
So yeah, I think Deebo is going to go down. I think he's gonna.
He'll go backwards. He'll regress this year.
Regress.
Deebo Samuel,
That's what
I mean, it's really, there's 2 things that play into it. One, who's his quarterback? If it's Trey Lance, I think Deebo goes down even further. I don't see Trey Lance being that quarterback that he needs this year. The other thing is obviously injuries. Deebo Samuel has struggled with injuries. So those 2 things can greatly affect his game. And I think he ends up in the top 10 if he's healthy, but I don't think he's top 3.
So, I'll let you say the next one.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase. Cincinnati Bengal, rock star. We love him. He's great. He's got a lot of good rapport with Burrow.
The sad thing is that he was so underrated coming out of college. He took off a year. What's it called?
COVID?
Well, yeah, it's called COVID, but he took a year off. He his last season in LSU, he took off, and then he came to the Bengals. Obviously, went to the Super Bowl with the Bengals, and obviously lost the Super Bowl with the Bengals. But yeah, so that's all we really got to say about Jamar Chase. He's a great wide receiver. He could be second or first if he wanted to. He wants to, so. But yeah, next guy.
All right. Number 4 on the list, Justin Jefferson.
Hold on. Now let me show you something really quick.
Uh-oh.
I say right foot creep.
Okay, we're going to have to edit that out.
No. No editing that out. That was the best gritty you'll ever see.
Except for Justin Jefferson.
No.
Justin Jefferson, number 4, barely beat out by Jamar Chase. And what's crazy is that number 3, number 4, number 5, guys in these positions,
One
literally 1 point difference between each one. So just one play difference, and your number 5 guy could have been your number 3 guy. So it's really a
But
tight
Jamar Chase
race.
got one more point.
It's really a tight
Justin
race
Jefferson.
there at the top. So Justin Jefferson, number 4. Number 5, the all-star, the rock star, the one and only Devontae Adams.
The guy that's also in free agency I wouldn't be mad if the Bengals snagged him, then we'd had 4 really good wide receivers, but I think Chase would still be number 1 on our team. And then,
We don't have the money for that. That's going to be expensive.
we got $50 million, but still, if we want O-line, we don't need wide receivers.
If Devontae Adams has Aaron Rodgers this coming year, he stays a top 5 guy.
If he
If he doesn't,
stays in top 10, but not top 5.
I'm with you there. I think he stays top 10. He's got that elite talent, but I think with a different quarterback, even Ryan Tannehill, if that trade happens, I don't think it's going to quite be the same.
So, next, we drop way down in points, down to the hundreds. 188.5 points for Mike Evans, number 6 on our list. He dropped boom like that compared to Chase, Devontae Adams. And the crazy thing is, Cooper Kupp almost got 300 points, and he beat Deebo Samuel by 32 points, 32 and a half points.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And he only played one more game. So Deebo would have to get 32 and a half points to just tie with him.
Yep.
And if you're counting the playoffs too, he would have like record-breaking numbers.
Oh, yeah. He was an all-star all the way through. Number 6 on the list, Mike Evans.
We already said that.
188, like you said.
Oh, I thought you were like,
And again,
number 8
no,
or 6.
No, I'm not that forgetful yet.
Yet.
188 in points. And again, number 6, number 7, number 8, those guys are all just literally 3 points difference in each one. 130-yard play, and your number 8 guy is now your number 6 guy. So all of these guys have a lot of value on your fantasy team. Mike Evans at number 6. Just a couple points behind him, Tyreek Hill at number 7. And
Now. I don't say you draft Tyreek Hill. I don't think he's your number 1 receiver on your fantasy team because he's so inconsistent. I got him this year. 20 points, 5 points. 30 points, 2 points. That's how he is. He has a pop-off game, and then he has just a game where he has nothing.
He's explosive. He can really explode and get a ton of points, and he can also disappear into the background and not get very many at all. That's the kind of player he is. That's how he has been. He's been more consistent the last couple years than he was prior, but still pretty inconsistent for the span of the whole year. But jumping right on to number 8, Stephon Diggs. Again, a couple points behind Tyreek Hill.
3, actually. Exactly.
But Stephon Diggs is a little more consistent. He's steady. He's not going to get you a 40-point game and then a 5-point game. He's going to get you 18, 22, 24. He's going to be right in that range and definitely help you win games.
You got number 9 on the list, dropping 12 points down at 170.6. Mike Williams, that might not even be on the Chargers this year. Nothing much to say about him. He's a pretty good wide receiver in general, but
How surprising is it that Mike Williams makes the top 10?
you go down.
This is not even the number 1 receiver on the team. You've got Keenan Allen that is their number 1. So that's really pretty
And Keenan
amazing
Allen's
to me.
15. He's the 15th.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but that's pretty cool though that he made that jump because Mike Williams wasn't there last year. He wasn't even in the top 15. So he made a pretty good jump this year.
And then the last guy that we're going to talk about, DK Metcalf. The one, the only the myth, the legend that can run very fast.
Runs like a gazelle.
So I'll just show you this really quick. You got these two teams, right? So you got the Cardinals, they get a pick. Buda Baker, he's running. And then you got DK Metcalf. Buda Baker has a little, like a head start. And then here's DK Metcalf. He chases him down.
I think we've all seen the play.
Yep.
He
ran like 40 miles an hour. No, he actually ran like 25
like a
miles an hour.
like a cheetah down the field. It's unreal. So he's definitely good. And what's funny is that Tyler Lockett is literally right behind him. DK Metcalf comes in at 169 points. Tyler Lockett 168 points. And they're on the same team.
So you throw it
crazy.
You throw it to Tyler Lockett one more time, and he passes him. But no, that is not what happened. He did not get passed one more time. He's probably pretty mad about that. He's like, dang it, bro. I didn't pass DK in receiving fantasy points. Whatever we're talking about here.
Couple sneaky picks that I want to just kind of interject and throw in before we end off today. CeeDee Lamb, he's going to be the number one for Dallas. He's a stud. He comes in the top 15, but...
Spoiler alert. Amari Cooper might not play on the Cowboys next year.
Maybe. He's an expensive receiver.
So guys, it cut out there. So we were talking about how, like CeeDee Lamb and stuff and Amari Cooper, but it was heading to the end of our video. So yeah, if you guys did like the video, please like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications so you don't miss a weekly upload on this channel. Thank you for tuning in to the Father Son Football Fanatics podcast. And yeah, we're out. Peace.